Hello, everyone. Sorry, do you know what? What a terrible way to start a live stream by my flaming. Do you know, the funny thing is, my phone's just gone off. My phone is going off, telling me that I'm on the that I'm starting the show here. Anyway, thank you for joining me. It's not very good, is it? Thank you for everybody in the live chat. I just want to know. I want everybody on here to have their chance to say a few things. I've just done the review on my Todd, so it was just really my opinions. Let's get a few more. Let's see what everybody else is thinking. I sat down and watched it with my son, who thought it was rubbish as well. But aside from that, I've not got any other West Ham fan opinions. Just quickly going on to the live chat. The Pocky Punk says, no rush, Mr. Gonzo. I'm half awake here as it's 5 a.m. Didn't watch the game myself, but you may have missed a bunch of comments on the live chat on the first viz because he knows I usually have it switched off. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I have that switched off, and I haven't seen any comments at all. So I'm here now, and that was very, very poor. I just want to, before I deal with these comments in the live chat, I think I just want to pop onto the forum very quickly and just read you a few of the things on there. There's a separate thread, which is, I won't say what the title is because it's just full of swear words, but it's about Marko Arnautovic, and it's about how everybody's very, very unhappy with him. He's sulky, doesn't care, and it just his general attitude, the way he is. Everybody seems to be of an opinion that we've really missed a boat not grabbing £35 million for him. Some people think it would be lucky to get 10, 15 for him on there. I mean, let's be fair, his value is going down all the time. Just on the game itself, I'll tell you what the forum thinks. It's actually Neville Bartos, who is a regular on the forum and a good man. He said we need a good clear out. No creativity, no endeavour. I absolutely agree with that. He said earlier in the season it looked like 2 or 3 quality additions would do. Now he thinks we need 3 more in addition to that. Pale Rider, again, big regular on the forum. He said, I watched Fulham City earlier and this was an easy win. Did we have a shot on target? No, I can't remember one. A 5-minute spell, around 50 minutes, where if we'd scored, we might have gone on. But then we just died a death. We were lucky it wasn't 3, 4, and then 5. Diop and Cresswell were at a toilet. Lanzini is nowhere near sharp enough yet. Although he does need game time. Diangana gave the ball away every time he had it. Antonio tried, but has the technique of a drunk. Arnautovic and Perez should never wear the shirt again. Other than that, it was great. He says, you can't really argue with any of that, can you? Jay Hammers, again, regular on the forum. I should just say that everyone's a regular on the forum that's on there, aren't they? A shocking gutless performance. Reminded me of the Allardyce days. You're being outplayed by a team below you in the league. Show some fight and put a tackle in, he's saying. Brookings' love child, he's talking about Everton against Chelsea here. He said they beat Chelsea playing well. To be fair, they were at half throttle against us, and it could have been 6 or 7. I agree. I think they took their foot off the gas. He said a more depressing performance I haven't seen for a considerable time. Not sure a £25 million band-aid will fix this. I agree. Soggy Oggy, he makes a point here. He said, so against Huddersfield, we start the game playing absolute crap. 2 strikers come on in the second half, one of which goes on to bag 2 goals. The other contributes nothing to the result. Guess which one starts the next game? He's obviously talking about why Hernandez didn't start the game. I think most people are in agreement. Anyway, hello there, Mike. Hello, mate. Listen, Mike, if you want to jump on the stream, mate, you're more than welcome, mate. If you've got a camera there, just pop up in the live chat, and then if need be, I'll pop up and I'll send you a link. You can jump in and join us if you want, mate. So let's have a little look at the previous comments up here. I'll go back a little bit. Do you think we play better with 5 with wing backs at the back, or the 4 we do now, says Tom Whitton? It's hard to say, Tom. I've got to say, I think he picked the wrong players for the formation today. That was short. I think we've played some decent games this season with the 4, but he got everything wrong today, Pellegrini. Absolutely everything wrong. Noah Lancaster, welcome, sir, says he can understand why Perez, why do we even start Perez? He's so bad every game he's played for us. We've lost, he said. Every game he's played for us, we've lost. That's true. Not overly disputing it, Noah, to be honest, mate. The Pucky Punk says same odd team selections today. Will be interesting if anyone can find out why Noble was dropped and where Anderson was. Did Anderson play for Brazil? I think he did feature, possibly, as a substitute. I heard that somewhere. Don't know. Didn't see it. Mark Weir says worst home performance by far. It was on the cards after Huddersfield. Very, very bad. Yeah, I mean, no, nobody's particularly happy with that. And I like to think over the course of the season, we take things with a pinch of salt. I like to think we try and have a balanced opinion on things. So I think sometimes when we do lose, we don't lay the boot in as much as we could. But I thought this was very bad today. It was a very, very bad performance. There's just so much is wrong. So much is wrong. Everyone's going to have different ideas on what was wrong. What have we got? Jamie Betts said, I've supported West Ham all my life, so I can handle losing. And we've lost a lot. But if we're losing, he wants us to show some fight if we're losing. He says today was on a different level. No fight at all. He said that was hard to watch. It was hard to watch, actually. I remember looking at it after 65 minutes and thinking, just going to go on forever. We knew we weren't going to win. I really don't know what he thought he was doing. It was almost at one point, I thought, is he trying to prove a point to the board? Is he trying to say, look, I'm going to need more money here? Would he do that? Would he throw a game? I was even more cross about the Wimbledon capitulation today, that was for sure. Tom Whitten, why did we start Perez? I don't know. I mean, Perez didn't even go to Malaga, Tom, because Pellegrini was so unimpressed with him in training. We didn't even take him on the camp. I thought that was it. We're not going to see him again. I don't know why he featured at all. Tom Harms said that Anderson got a nick in training for Brazil. Michael says he's tweaked his ankle, apparently. So, yeah, I'm sure he would have featured. Even if he was dropped, he would have been on the bench. I'm not sure he would have done anything in that game, though, Anderson. Let's be fair. Lewis, how do you spell that? Lewis Arentas says, why are we still conceding from set pieces and early goals as well? Very early goal, 4 minutes, that one. It's happening week after week. Either the players don't listen or Pellers can't inspire them. I will hold back on the Pellers can't inspire them just yet. But he has to take criticism today, and then we have to look at it. I think Diop was in the correct position for the first goal. Just allowed himself to get out of muscle. Got bullied, didn't he? Hello, Mikey boy. Right, okay. Right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. You're going to have to bear with me here if I go slightly quiet, because I'm going to try and multitask. And the reason I'm multitasking is I'm going to try and invite Mike. Mike, I'll pop onto your Twitter, and I will send you the invite via Twitter. There we go. Right, where is he? Where's Mike? Let's find him. It's WHU Mike, as we know. There he is. Mike, I am literally messaging you right now. I'm sending you the link. The rest, you know what to do, friends. Right, hopefully you got that now. So, yeah, we should be joined by Mike very, very soon. I'm getting better at this technical stuff. Unfortunately, the team aren't getting better at the football stuff. That's for sure. Having said that, I've lost the live chat. No, there it is. And what else have we got here in the live chat? Yeah, but people aren't happy. West Ham Jordan said today showed that Manuel Pellegrini is tactically inept. He hates to say, got it wrong, tactically wrong, tactical. I mean, sometimes you get your tactics wrong, but you got selections, and those players will play well, get you through. He got it selections wrong and tactics wrong. Wow, that's really something for his 8 million a year. Maybe that's harsh. Maybe that's harsh. Everyone's allowed a bad day at the office, but I'm not full of confidence that the next 3 games are really going to yield any more than that. Steve Tilley says he's got a Sabian West Ham fan for 8 years. Hello, sorry, Mike. I'm going to read out what Steve Tilley said. Steve Tilley says he's got a Sabian West Ham fan for 8 years. That must be one of the worst home performances I've ever seen. And pathetic is being kind to the players. Right, let's find it. Where is it? Where's that beauty? Mike, I can't see you.
Oh, dear.
That's a good thing.
No, that's a terrible thing. I can't think why my camera mustn't be working.
Don't worry about it, mate. Don't worry about it. Let's go with it, mate. Let's go with it. We're impromptu. Go on, mate. The floor is yours, as they say.
Well, I would just say, mate, that for me, I'm not that surprised by this. I mean, we were terrible today, so let's just get that out of the way. I think we all know how rubbish West Ham were, but it's been heading this way. Not just against the game away at Huddersfield, but even in our wins against Fulham and Newcastle, we weren't convincing. Even though we beat those teams comfortably, it's because they didn't play well. And I thought they at times that even Fulham, if you remember, played us apart for the first 20 minutes of the game. I think this has been coming. I think the team, since the whole Arnautovic thing, or since, shall we just say, the January transfer window, whether it's an Arnautovic thing or not, remains to be seen. I think the whole team has been absolutely really lacking any cohesiveness, any kind of, teamness, if that's a word, any real way of combining and forming a shape, even. We had, I was totally unaware of where Anderson was. I arrived to the game 5 minutes in when I've got in with the kids, we put it on the stream, and I'm like, where the hell's Anderson? And what was worse was there was no one actually on the left in the first half. I think it's supposed to be Lanzini, but he just drifted centrally all the time. Whenever any player looked up to go left, there was no one there unless Creswell was up the pitch. So I thought the shape was wrong, the effort was wrong, but it's been coming, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you're right about one thing, Mike. Anderson was totally anonymous today. It was his worst performance, mate. He just drifted out of the game and never got back into it. Well, listen, I'm pleased you've joined us, mate. I really am. Even if we can't see you, that's cool. We all know what a handsome man you are, anyway. I just want to go into what Graham Perspective has said here. He says, "I don't think we can blame Manuel Pellegrini." He said it's the players. He seems to think it's the players. I just do wonder, Mike. I think we are in for big changes in the summer. Forget the 25 million. I don't know if you heard. I don't know which video it was, either this one or the one before. I looked at that starting lineup and I thought, how many of these players are going to feature for us next season, Mike?
Yeah, it's a really good point, mate. I think the if you look at that starting lineup, you look at it. Perez isn't going to be here, is he? Obiang's not going to be here. I think we could all put good money on that. Does Chicharito want to stay? I'm out of it. He came on as a sub. I'd like him to stay personally, and I don't think he deserves too much fault today because he's a fox in the box. The ball was never in the box. I think I watched your review, mate, and I think you said in that you can't remember us having a shot on target, and I certainly can't remember us having a shot on target, and in the second half, a shot at all. And you can't, have a go at somebody who serves a finisher when they've had absolutely no service. Arnautovic isn't going to be there next season, is he? Let's face it. And I just feel that there were a lot. Fabianski, Rice played really well. In the first half, Rice was in midfield on his own. It was just him. And there's only so much. He was outnumbered 3-1 because Obiang did literally nothing. In fact, it got to about, I've been watching him for 20 minutes before I realised he was actually on the pitch. You know what I mean? You're like, he's there. It wasn't like he was even in the background running around. He just wasn't in the game at all. It was astounding. I thought the selection was really weird. Why no Noble? Do we know?
We don't, not as yet. On my stream, it was maybe I'm getting the wrong end of the stick, but sorry, flaming stream was it? It was bloody BT. It seemed to suggest that Noble was. He said something like, "Oh, I feel you got to feel a bit sorry for Mark Noble." It didn't sound like feel sorry for him for being dropped, because he said something like, "Of course, you got to remember he is available for selection." It was as if something had happened, but he put him on the bench anyway. I don't know. Maybe I just got the wrong end of the stick. Totally got the wrong end of the stick. Mike, sorry, just Graham Perspective. He said, "Where's Gio?" Gio's at the game, mate. He's at the game. Arnie's getting a lot of stick, Mike, everywhere for him. On the chat and everything. What's your take, just generally on the Arnautovic saga, how he played? I mean, were you happy with that?
Do you know what? I thought Arnautovic, a bit like, I think Arnautovic was like a player bereft of confidence at the moment to start with, which is weird for somebody who puffs his chest like and strops around like Arnautovic does. And I felt, did you notice how often he was tackling back? He gave
Yeah.
away a corner in open play once, didn't he? When he was up against, he had two of their players breathing down his neck. He seemed to be. He dropped when Chiguerito came on. He was the player playing off the striker, wasn't he? And I thought he worked quite hard. To say he did nothing would be wrong because I thought he worked quite hard. The problem with Arnautovic was, those sort of flicks he does when he gets the ball and looks up and likes to drive forward or lay a good pass forward. He didn't. He got the ball, stopped, looked, turned around, passed backwards every time. Every time. And I just thought that's a player with absolutely no confidence at the moment. And I felt a little bit sorry for him. Now, Arnautovic is a shadow of the player he was at the beginning of the season and and obviously last season. And I just think that something's gone very, very wrong now. It might well be the mood thing. In that case, it's all on him. But I wonder what else is going on. Do you know what I mean? There are things since that whole Arnautovic thing. I think the team's form has fallen apart largely.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's certainly been a catalyst for whatever has followed. Let's be fair. Even whilst Huddersfield was very excited, we were lucky. You have to say we were lucky there, really. You can't keep pulling rabbits out of the hat. And he tried to get it today, and it just didn't work because, well, I mean, Antonio and Chicharito didn't impact the game as much as he'd have wanted to. So, but that's because he got it so wrong. I just want to read a few of these comments here before they scroll too far down. Tom Lawn says attitude issue with the players. Subconsciously, they're on holiday. I mean, there is that about the 42 points. I mentioned it earlier. Neil Walker says half the team are not good enough. And the other half wearing flip-flops, which he's obviously alluding to what Tom had just said about being on holiday, because I associate flip-flops with holiday. I'm not one of those people that wears flip-flops in the street. I've seen a lot of it. It's a bit fashionable. Swimming attendant, swimming attendants, those things they wear by the poolside, lifeguard shoes. I'm not one for wearing lifeguard shoes, particularly with socks on. Let's get that right. But anyway, we digress. Victor Fenn says, I don't think the players are good enough to implement what the manager wants. That's the big one. That's the big one right there, because he is going to make these changes. The weird thing is, and this is what I don't get, at the risk of repeating myself of what I did on the review, we have a manager who likes to play passing football. Why would you play in midfield like that? Why would you play that 4 in midfield with such poor ball retention? I just don't get it. Mike, I mean, what do you think on that?
It was really weird, wasn't it? It's a hard one to describe, really, isn't it? I'd go back to. Let's look at what's changed. Yeah, since I was lucky enough to be at the away fixture, the equivalent away fixture, right? Oh, at Everton, and we won 3-1, and the game started really evenly, and we scored. I remember Arnautovic created a goal for Yarmolenko, who I know is injured now, and scored a goal. Yarmolenko got the other goal, a very good individual goal. Now, no, Yarmolenko's out injured, but in that game, which was against pretty much the exact same Everton team lineup-wise, yeah, I think Gomez suspended Dina, the right back they've got, who played left back, who played so well from stay, or right back, whichever one it is, and they're right back, and and they had, the rest of their main players, Sigurdsson, Carlson, all those players, playing. So, in the second half, I remember it was 2-1 half time. In the second half, we were the only team who were going to score another goal. We absolutely dominated them. Our passing was good. We wanted the ball. We looked up for it all the time. Today, whenever one of our back four got the ball and looked up, no one wanted the ball. Reminded me of the Bilic era. Do you remember that? When we'd have players, our back four would be passed the ball amongst themselves, and everyone in midfield and that out wide went missing. No one wanted the ball. No one wanted to know. We'd given up, waved the white flag, and disappeared without a trace. And we seemed to do that when the kickoff went.
Yeah, I thought, I'm glad you spoke about Everton. We got an Everton fan in the live chat, James Dunlop, and welcome, James. He said, couldn't believe how good we were and how poor you guys were. He wasn't confident at all before the game. No, I'm sure you weren't, James, but I'm also sure when you read that lineup, you must have thought, hold on, where's Anderson? Where's Chicharito? Where's Noble? Where's any of these players? You know, there was so many that we were missing. I'm sure when you look at the team sheet, there's probably an element where you think, oh no, Arnautovic is going to play, but this is not Arnautovic. This is the spirit. This is the shadow of Arnautovic that's on the ghost of Arnautovic. Let's call him. Just because I wanted a third word, because shadow and whatever else I said, spirit, didn't quite cover it. On Everton, I thought they probably couldn't believe how easy it was. Calvert-Lewin, I thought Bernard and Richarlison caused trouble, but I thought Gay in the middle, probably thought, hello, this is Christmas, Anyway, made it far too easy for them.
Mate, we were completely overrunning midfield. Completely overrun. It was Declan Rice on his own all the way through. Snodgrass ran up and down, but he was completely ineffective, wasn't he? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
And Dinghy looks a shadow of the player he was. Mainly not because anything awful's happened to him, but he just does not have that sharpness back yet. And I appreciate he needs game time for that, and we need to get him on the pitch. But there was midfield, you could have driven an aircraft carrier through it. There was that much room. Declan Rice versus all three of their main midfielders there, and they made Idris Gueye look really good, didn't it? And that's never a good day.
Well, let's remind me in 2 minutes, Mike, to talk about Declan Rice. I just looking at the chat. Tony Patworth. Tony, that's Tony. You've seen Tony from the videos. Tony, who goes to games. Why is he in the chat? Tony, I thought, aren't you on the boats? He can't be on the boats. There's no flaming signal down there. Anyway, he says Noble had a bereavement. His grandmother died. So that explains that. I thought I heard something. Which brings us, a couple of people are saying that about Noble. Right, I want to go about Rice here, because Graham Perspective says, I think Pep will buy Rice as Fernandinho's 32. I thought Rice looked better than ever today, Mike. I thought you may, if you've listened to the review, I think that's done something. That's elevated him. That's put a bit. That's elevated him. He's put a bit of a spring in his step. He's puffed his chest out. He is now feeling $1 million, an England international. Would it be rude to say two of our best runs was actually, dribbling past people? He was having to be action man today, Declan Rice, 20 years of age, Mike.
I completely agree with you, brother. I mean, at the end of the day, Declan Rice was for one man against three, actually gave a good account of himself, didn't he? I mean, he was stopping them. It's unfortunate he got booked. He got told off for a foul earlier, so when he got booked, you knew it was kind of coming. But he was very professional. And yeah, you're right. He was driving forward. He was the only person capable of passing to someone in the same sponsored knitwear. Do you know what I mean? He was the only one who could do it in any way, shape, or form. And yeah, he was the one who was going on runs, and not our wide players. It was Declan Rice. And he was the one player in front of the back four who was trying to have, and talking back four, by the way, Diop looks like his confidence has been a bit shaken over the last few weeks. And I thought Bonner actually had quite a good game. And Cresswell was a mess. Not Cresswell, sorry. The other fullback, what's his name? Zabaleta was a mess. Cresswell grew into the game a bit as it went on, but still wasn't looking that comfortable. Zabaleta his positioning was all over the place. It's not something you normally say about Zabaleta, being the consummate pro that he is. So I don't know really what's going on. Where was Ryan Fredericks, by the way? He wasn't even on the bench. Is he injured?
I mean, it does make you wonder. So we know about Noble now. And, fair play to him for even going on the bench. But Noble for Obiang, would that have made much more difference today? I'm not so sure. There was something more going on. Even the bench was weird, Mike. I looked at the bench. That didn't seem right. Yeah, there was no Fredericks on there at all. I don't know. I don't know what was going on. Not that I think necessarily Fredericks was the answer. I didn't think we should start with Fredericks. There's just so many players. You can only give Pellegrini so much leeway. I keep saying that these are not the players that in the style that Pellegrini wants to play. And I do want Pellegrini to have his 3 years. I want him to put his stamp on the team. I think it's very, very important. But I don't think either Zabaleta or Ryan Fredericks are the type of fullbacks that he is going to want, which is going to be, technically decent. The whole ball retention, I just think if you had an ethos, it's a bit like Sam Allardyce setting his team out, but not having a burly ball winner in midfield and a towering centre forward. That's in his DNA. That's how Sam Allardyce sets up his teams. He likes a team of big fellas. He likes someone arriving late from midfield. There's a set of things that Sam Allardyce likes and a blueprint of his team. I just looked at that formation today. I thought, well, this is not what Pellegrini is about. This is not the Pellegrini of Malaga or Man City or anywhere else. This is not what we thought we were buying into. And you saw, because the possession got a bit better when Lanzini moved centrally in the second half, of course. And I just wonder what the hell he was up to. I don't get it. Why you would play that? We were talking earlier about who's going to feature, who's not going to feature next season. I would be surprised if Robert Snodgrass, who's had an industrious season, let's say, I'd be surprised if Robert Snodgrass is earmarked for a starting place in the team next season. In essence, is Robert Snodgrass any more than the bench player for next season? I'm sure he won't be. Yet there he is, featuring Obiang. Okay, we know what's going on with Obiang now, but still, you think, what on earth is going on there? I don't know. I don't know what was happening with these selections, Mike. I really don't. I'm just going to quickly read through a few more of these comments. What else have we got here? Right. Excuse me. Shizobaz. I always have trouble pronouncing that. I probably still haven't pronounced it properly. Diop and Oggy are absolute rubbish at moving the ball forward. Even if they have time, I think he's saying they're indecisive. They turn back to the keeper, I think is what he's saying. More people telling us about Mark Noble and his nan passing away. Darren Lee says, who cares anymore? Not me. Went to sleep at the 5th minute. I wish I could not care. But I'll tell you what, it makes me furious. It winds me right up. Chicharito had absolutely no service, unlike last week. Yes, absolutely. Tony Lawns has confirmed, most importantly, that the flip-flops does indeed mean holiday and not something that he is going to wear to take for his Mother's Day meal tomorrow. Michael Collar says the players ask themselves why Arnie got a new contract. And why he got more money. I think what Michael is saying there is perhaps linking into what you were suggesting, why it all changed after Arnautovic threw his toys out the pram and got a new contract, Mike. I think what Michael is saying there is that actually that irks the players. The players weren't happy that he got a new contract. The fact that he played up, was a naughty boy and got rewarded and is actually on more money than all of them, apart from Chicharito. Maybe it's got something to do with that. What else we got? Just trying to work my way down the comments here. Jappel says, and the board have the cheek to raise season ticket prices. It's a paper thin balance, that, Jappel. It's a paper thin balance. For them to do everything that they're doing, things have to be going just so. And last week we had the survey about the stadium and about how things are going. And really, it was quite positive. But it was positive, I said at the time, because we'd just won. Now, I think if you were to take the next 2 or 3 games, if we lose our next 2 or 3 games, then the mood around the club's very, very different. If they then were to do a survey, it'd be quite different. Then people get annoyed with the season ticket prices going up. Then people get annoyed that the owners are about to take £45 million out next season to settle their debts, which the West Ham United owe Gold and Sullivan, £45 million. I think, and we have then just a derisory small transfer war chest. I think then we get more annoyed. And it hangs by a thread, is what I'm saying, not paper thin. The relationship between the fans and the board hangs by a thread. Oh, no. Tony's been ill. He couldn't make it. Tony's in his sick bed. Oh, mate, you might have had a lucky escape, Tone. Get well soon. Get well soon, my old son. Flower Man says every time we had possession, Everton had two players on us straight away. Every time Everton had the ball, we sat back, we let them play. Michael agrees with that. Did we see Fabianski? Mike, Fabianski today.
I thought, by the way, I fixed the camera.
Oh, hold on. Let me find you. Oh, let's have a bit of Mike. Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. Hello there. I thought Fabianski was really good. There was one point where they played a ball in, and he was surrounded by three Everton attackers, and his hands went up, and they just stuck to his hands. The ball did. You just didn't. And you know that with Fabianski. Do you know what I mean? He's secure. You know he's going to be there. He's not going to do anything daft like drop the ball at someone's feet. And let's face it, it would have been 4 or 5 without him today. Fabianski was one of the signings I was least impressed with in the summer. It's turned out to be probably the best one, because I thought, why are we paying 7 million for somebody in their 30s? What a good player he turned out to be. What a good buy. He's been very, very good. There's a few comments. Can I mention them? Talk about
please, mate. Crack on. Take over. Read through, Mike.
I was really I was impressed as well. I agree. I think there is something. We steamed into through December. Do you remember? On a wave, I think we won 6 out of 8 or something, and we were really flying and looking like we could, especially after we lost our first 4 games of the season. You've got to remember that as well. And we were really making up ground and steaming into the top 10. Then the whole Arnautovic thing blew up, and we have never recaptured that fall. Now, and since then, we've had players come back from injury as well. The squad's got better. At that time, we didn't have Lanzini, we didn't have Yarmolenko, we had a lot of other injury issues as well. Creswell was out, if you remember. Fredericks was out. We've got a lot more options now. And I think even Antonio was injured around that time as well for a little while. So you'd think we'd be better now. But something happened with the whole unaverage thing, which is completely. I think there is a real issue in the training ground. I think there were real behind the scenes ructions because of the unaverage thing. And you remember Unaverage couldn't get a game for a long time. He's only just started getting back in the first team. I think a lot of that is because the rest of the players are just so annoyed with him and don't really want him there. And I would also point out that we play much better when he's not on the pitch. And it's not entirely down to him. It's partly down to him because he's also not been as good since. But the players don't seem to want to play with him, if you know what I mean. Now, I understand there's a level of professionalism here where they should play with whoever's on the pitch, but there is clearly some real issue with him. I think so, anyway.
Yeah. There's been other comments surrounding that as well, mate. I just want a couple of things here. Danny says 7th place up for grabs. So what do we do? That's in relation to what Relaxing Woody is expands on that a bit. He says, I think that's the 7th time we have missed 7th place. We don't seem to want it. I don't even agree that we don't want it. I think Pellegrini wants it. I think Pellegrini wants European football too much. I think he measures himself on us sort of qualifying somehow for the UEFA Cup. Let me get European football. I don't think Pellegrini has realised quite how hero worshipped he'd become if he won a cup at West Ham, because we are just desperate for a trophy. I do think, though, the reason we don't get 7th place is because we're not good enough. We are not the 7th best team in the league, and that's why we don't get 7th place. It's quite there's a purity to league football. And that is, at the end of the season, the team with the most points wins and deserves to, because over the course of a season, over 38 games, it evens out the flukes. All that stuff basically gets evened out. Make no mistake about it, the team that finishes 12th are the 12th best team in the league. And that's why we don't go 7th. We just ain't good enough. It's as simple as that. And that's why I thought, and I said earlier on, a month or two ago, it was too early for us to qualify for Europe. And because you've seen what happens when we don't have some players available, then you get this. Tony has mentioned something I said earlier on. He said, is Pellegrini cynically And is Pellegrini cynical and sneaky enough to intentionally put out a side like that to send a 25 million isn't enough message to Sullivan? Maybe it ain't enough, but I also think Pellegrini has too much integrity to throw a game in the way he did like that. Johnny Boss says Arnie is the problem. Sorry, he doesn't think Arnie's a problem. Sorry, Johnny. He didn't play bad today. If the fans are booing him, what can he do? He certainly wasn't the worst out there. It wasn't the worst out there, but he certainly wasn't the best out there. And to be fair, they weren't booing him at the start of the game. They did boo him when he came off. We have this problem under the last 4 or 5 managers. Number of poor performances. Victor, it is not just the last 4 or 5 managers, I think, although my numbers of what managers we've had and when, I mean, are just not very good. Mike, I'm going to start wrapping this up, my friend. Last words to you?
Couple of things, if I could. Very quickly, you mentioned earlier about Declan Rice, and I think he's going to go. I really think that now, and I don't blame him. Do you know what I mean? He's already a very, very, very good Premier League midfielder, and he's on his way to being a proper top end, borderline world class defensive midfielder, in my opinion, from what I've seen of him, which is quite a lot. Let's face it, as a West Ham fan, and also he can play central defence. For Guardiola, he's a dream come true. He gets a load of injuries in defence. He's got a ball-playing defender he can drop in if he needs a replacement for Fernandinho, isn't he? Who's getting on a bit there. He's your man. He ticks so many boxes for them. I expect a bid in the summer. I really do think that. Secondly, if this was, and really about this game, which is what my stream's about, if this was one poor performance, bad day at the office, okay? But it isn't. It's been going on since Christmas. Even the games we've won, we've not been convincing in, I think, anyway. And if you look at the Huddersfield away game, Cardiff away, and you look at Wimbledon and you take all of those things into consideration, this has been a downward trend since about Christmas, yeah? And I know it's an old legend that West Ham come down for Christmas, but we've won a few games. The only game we played well in was that game against Arsenal. That's the only game. And that's where they really wanted to demonstrate, I think, that they could compete with the top 6 team. And we seem to do all right against them. But everyone else, there is clearly an issue now. This isn't one game. It's an ongoing thing. And this is where Pellegrini earns that huge wage of his. I'm a fan of Pellegrini, but he needs to sort it out.
Well, mate, thank you very much. Thank you for for that. I'm gonna finish up now, Mike. If you could be so kind, thanks for joining us, my friend. Mike, on Monday, what day is that on this week?
Well, we're aiming to have it out on Monday.
Okay, I like it. I like it when you give it a twist, mate. I like that. Thank you for joining us. If you could switch yourself off, not totally. We don't want you gone forever, but if you could end it from your end, I'm gonna stay on for a minute, and then because I've seen some quotes from Manuel Pellegrini. I'm going to read those, and I will finish by reading those. But just before I do, I just want to say thank you to everybody else in the live chat. I'll do this one question very quickly. I'll throw it to Mike because otherwise it just time gets on. Mike, how much for Rice?
75.
75p for a bag of Uncle Ben's. I like it. Anyway, that's that. I'm going to leave. Thank you very much for everybody in the live chat that has joined us. We just thought we would do this now to give you an opportunity to vent and to give your comments. The chat will remain open, not in a live chat. We'll go to the chat under the video. So post your comments there if you still want to discuss it. Even better, go onto the forum. Some very, very unhappy people there. There's quite a feisty thread about Marko Arnautovic on hammerschat.com. I'm just going to go across now and read some comments from Manuel Pellegrini. We thank Mike for joining us. Where have I put those comments from Manuel Pellegrini? They're over here. So this is from his press conference. He says, very disappointing because without a doubt, it was the worst performance of the year. I guess he means season. I don't know. Was it? I don't know. You can lose, but not like that. Not without fighting. Everton were 2 points behind us. Watford lost before we started. And it was an opportunity to demonstrate we could be in another position in the table. It's not the first time it's happened. We found it impossible to make 2 passes in a row. He went on to say, "We had a complete disaster attacking and defending. I expect them not to concede the goals and fight for 7th position. I think it's difficult to understand why we could not do it. In football, you never know, but we will talk with the players and make them understand that the season is not over. You are frustrated as a manager because it's not the way we wanted to do it. All the players were making mistakes today, especially during the first 15 minutes. We are conceding too many goals at set pieces. It was an easy goal for them to score because we didn't jump, as we expect. I made 2 changes at half time, but all the players had a bad day. Marko Arnautovic was playing with some pain in his knee. He received an injury on the same knee in international duty for Austria. So maybe he was not 100%. And there you go. That is Pellegrini's take on it. I think it's hard to argue with any of that. The only thing I would add to that is Pellegrini has to take some responsibility, a large chunk of it, for what happened today, because I did not feel that was the best team that we could have put out on the pitch to face Everton today. Mike, we'll see you Monday. Thank you, my friend.
Take care, dude. Bye now.
See you soon, mate. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you to everybody. Everybody has commented in the chat. Thank you to everybody for joining us. Bad weekend. If you're doing something with your mum or whatever,